They can leap more than their body's length up to catch what you'd find on the base of a big tree in the flooded forest. Might be like a pink-toed tarantula or something like that.
Hang on there, Ed. We'll get back to you later. Lots more to hear from Ed, my friend, the curator up there at the Amazonia exhibit in the National Zoo. So more stories from Ed to come. So after a fantastic visit to Northern Virginia with KGTropicals, I'm now up here in Washington, D.C. with River Wife, and I've planned a trip to the National Zoo. I want to get up there and see some of the monster fish that they have in the Amazonia exhibit. Should be a lot of fun, so I'm glad you're here with me. We're trekking our way through the concrete jungle to find our way to the concrete Amazon up there at the National Zoo. Oh, really big day today. We got to get out there in the concrete jungle to make our way to the concrete Amazon. I'm bulking up on a big breakfast, and we're going to take the journey together. Hopefully we'll run into my friend Ed Smith, who's a curator at the National Zoo. And if so, I'm sure he's got some great stories to tell, but I'm going to finish this breakfast and we're going to get on the road and see where we end up. Journeys are fun. In my fish journey, I'm in the process of tearing down a fish room, buying a house, ordering a custom aquarium, building a new fish room, moving a koi pond, kind of like getting through the concrete jungle to a nice destination. It'll be worth it in the end. I wish I could share it with the community. If John and Lisa of KGTropicals and Scott and Liz of King and Queen Cichlids were here with River Wife and I, we'd have a great community time. And that's what it's all about. Building community, sharing life with community, leaning on each other, developing a support system. Man, I wish those guys were here. I'm going to make some footage and share it with them. I hope they enjoy it as much as I do. I sure am glad you guys have decided to watch this video. Now's a good time to hit that like button if you haven't already. And please consider subscribing to the River Life channel. That's how we grow. Listen, this place is so amazing. They should call it the Amazon. Now that was corny, I know, but it just came to my mind. I thought I would share it. Anyway, let's go check out some monster fish. Just as I remember, Amazonia. Hey, but I never paid so much attention to this piece of art over the door. I'm pretty sure that's an arowana jumping clean out of the water. One of the impressive things here at the National Zoo is the safety and care of the animal comes first. Even at the entrance to the buildings, they have a double door system. You're asked to wait in a foyer until the door behind you closes before you enter the actual exhibit, so that the free-ranging animals don't have the opportunity to escape the building out into the park. And that works both ways. It also keeps the indigenous species here in this beautiful wooded park from getting into the exhibits with non-native species. I know, enough of all that. Okay. Here are the beautiful monster fishes. Enjoy. is right. Those arapaima can get over 200 pounds. Enormous. And I've never seen a red-tailed catfish with such a bright tail. All these guys are so healthy. Kudos to the staff there at the Amazonia collection for taking care of our national collection in such stellar fashion. I did learn that it takes a team, staff, and loads of volunteers. Listen, my friend Ed told me that the show just couldn't go on without the volunteers. They've got people helping with care of the animals, people helping with interpretation. I guess quite an army. And listen, that's why things are in order. I mean, it's not by chance or accident that things are so well kept there. Kudos to the volunteers that make it all happen, the staff that guide them and dedicate their lives to animal care and exhibition so that we have an opportunity to see such an awesome exhibit. I'm just going to let Ed talk to you for a minute. What an interesting guy. My friend Ed Smith, assistant curator for the Amazonia collection there at the National Zoo. Take it away, Ed.
Hey, Rack. It's nice to be standing here with you. It's been too long. So if we were in South America, both those fish are found in the Amazon Basin. Amazon Basin just means wherever a drop of water heads out to the Atlantic Ocean over by Belém. So a really big area, about the size of continental United States. Wow. And both of those fish occur in the quiet waters. So they're not the thing you're going to find in the fast-moving channel of the river. Mm-hmm. They're more up in the flooded forest areas. And because the slope of that continent is so gentle from the base of the Andes out to the mouth of the river does a lot of meandering. It's not a straight shot out. Mm-hmm. And that meandering of the river creates these oxbow lakes. Okay. So when the river connects on a bend, it cuts off that bend from the main flow, and that's the place to find arapaima and arowana.
Now, how many times have you made the journey out to the Amazon basin?
I don't know. My corner of the Amazon basin, I say my corner because the part I know best is in Peru, in the Departamento de Loreto, by Iquitos, and up there. So Pacaya Samiria is a large reserve, and that region is basically the one I know best. And I guess, I don't know, it's been 29 years or so of doing that. So sometimes once a year, sometimes twice. Some years I have to skip, but yeah. A few.
I think we're talking to an expert.
Well, yeah, an expert in saying, hey, let's have another pisco sour. But so back to fish. The difference between those two guys is one is a 1 meter long animal that lives at the surface, the arowana. Sometimes called monkey fish here. I don't quite know where that name comes in. But
is it because they jump out of the water completely? And
just like monkeys, you mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know why they give them that name. But yeah, that's right. That's what they're known for.
They're acrobatic, I guess.
They are that because they can leap more than their body's length up to catch what you'd find on the base of a big tree in the flooded forest. Might be like a pink-toed tarantula or something like that. That's good lunch material.
Have you witnessed that?
I've never seen him do that. I have seen him jump up and get beetles and large insects off of vines. And
completely out of the water?
Completely out of the water.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's cool. So ours are good couch potatoes, and they're pretty much trained to eat from the surface. We did some training to get them to jump, but there's all sorts of issues with that because it's not the wild, and it is a tank where we don't want them jumping out of the water.
Safety first.
Yeah. So those guys, the arowana, top out at about 1 meter, about 3 feet long. And then the arapaima are a different creature altogether. They're the same family, these bony-tongued fishes. It's kind of depauperate family, meaning there aren't too many representatives in that group of fish around the world. There are some. Almost every tropical region has one. Amazon has these two kinds. There's an arguable number of species in both the arowana camp and the arapaima camp. Generally, the design of all the arapaima and all the arowana are very much alike, and their ecological niche is the same. For the arapaima, they're these oxbow lake dwellers, the quiet waters, and those quiet waters have an aspect of the water that affects the biology of the fish, and that is they're really low in dissolved oxygen.
Okay.
So for a glass of water to have high dissolved oxygen, you need a couple things. You need just water and nothing dissolved in it, and then you need it to be cool, not warm. And that's the opposite condition that you find there in the Amazon. Yeah. In these oxbow lakes cut off from the main flow, they both have a great accrual of vegetation and rotting material. And so they're like black water swamps here in the U.S., in the southeast. Only the vastness of them is is a whole different ball game. So that's where the arapaima live, and this water is so low in oxygen that it's driven, and I say evolutionary driven, not just as an individual, but as a species over time, to adapt other ways of doing your gas exchange. So the arapaima, which down there in Peru are called paiche, and then over in their biggest range in Brazil, pirarucu, are animals that are obligate air breathers. So just like ourselves, jump in the water, have a good time, swim under the surface, got to come up for a breath of air. If you would not allow to put a lid on a tank with an arapaima, you would have a dead arapaima.
Wow.
So they're obligate air breathers. They have a modified swim bladder, blah, blah, blah. And they're big. So over 3 meters is a recorded size.
They're enormous. What's the weight of a fish that size?
A couple hundred pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, they're big. Right.
Now, your fish, I've looked at them today, and they're in outstanding condition. Beautiful fish.
Thanks.
No, they really are.
We're hardly the only aquarium that does them. Many do. We focused on keeping them on a diet that doesn't allow them to become couch potatoes. And I think we've been okay at that. The growth rate seems to be pretty good.
How long have you had them in captivity? The arrows
we're coming on something like 15 years or so.
That's pretty good.
Our pacu and some of the other fish we have from the Amazon we've had since we opened the exhibit, pretty much a few months after we opened the exhibit in November of '92. So those fish are coming into their 30s.
I first saw it in '99, and it was mind-blowing then. And I told you earlier in our conversation that I honestly think the exhibits are in better shape now than they were when I first saw them.
I'm glad I've got your eyes to know that by, because I see all the stuff that isn't in prime condition.
We're overcritical of ourselves sometimes, Ed.
Critical. I think you got to be critical, or else you're not doing your job. But we're fortunate. The fish exhibits are good. Kids of all ages, as they say, really are taken by the fish. So when they turn that corner after the stingrays and they see those huge arapaima, you get a lot of expletives.
I heard a lot of gasp, a lot of wow. And I was one of them, maybe.
Yeah, okay, cool. Now our rays that were born here.
And they're enormous.
And they're 25 years old, whatever.
Holy mackerel. Yeah. So, pardon the pun.
Sure. Hi, guys.
We're gaining an audience here, right, You're famous.
Exactly. Well, the sign behind me is more famous. And much more useful. So arowana they don't have the ability to breathe air in the same way that the arapaima do. So arapaima wouldn't be bothered very much by a low oxygen thing because they use the air. A number of different fishes, from electric eels. They're also obligate air breathers.
You now have a fantastic electric eel.
Yeah, that's
electric eel exhibit.
That exhibit's 2 years old, and I like it.
Yeah,
right.
And you got a giant electric eel down there as well.
Yeah, it's a good showpiece.
You have a display there, like a brass eel.
Yeah.
It shocked me.
No, it vibrated you.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have screamed then.
No, well, screaming's always good. Just kind of get your adrenaline going, draws a crowd.
Well,
all right.
Ed, I've stopped you in between meetings, and I really appreciate you hanging out with us for just a second. Ed Smith, this guy's amazing. We did an international amphibian chair together. Actually, Ed, you preceded me as chair of the International Amphibian Days and paved the way for me to have a very easy time, and I'll never thank you enough for that.
It was a fun convocation of nerds gathered around frogs.
The thing about it is we had hobbyists and scientists at the same table, and that made a wonderful collaboration.
Yeah, it did.
So I appreciate you as always, Ed. Thank you so much.
Man.
Great seeing you.
To see you. It really is. Okay, take care.
Well, that's about it for a fantastic day up here in Washington, D.C. If you like this video, be sure and subscribe to the River Life channel. If you haven't already, hit that like button. I appreciate that. Check out the links in the description. Probably some things down there that you'll also enjoy if you like this kind of content. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, get out there and see it, love it, and live it.